What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? It's your boy Justin J.Will, whatever you want to call me. One time for your mind. Checking in for the Cheat True podcast as always. On this Friday afternoon, Friday evening, whenever you may be listening to this, whatever day you may be listening to this. I appreciate you for dropping in, checking in on your boy. Because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. So I appreciate that, man. So I'm doing okay. I'm alive. I'm breathing. Nothing else really left to be said there. Man, I can tell you this, though. Past few days, I know y'all probably like, Justin, you always talking about you going through something that busy, doing something, something's going on. But I'm telling you guys, man, it's just been a murderer's row of problems for the past month for me. And one day soon, probably within the next month or so, I'm going to do an episode on it. Matter of fact, I'll probably do a whole series relating to what I'm talking about, that you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Because it could really help you in this thing called adulting that we were so eager for. Remember when you was small, you was like, oh, I can't wait till I get till I'm able to be on my own and my own house, my own car and all that. Man, I'm telling you, it's more good than bad. But man, sometimes the bad is just like, damn. Makes you want to move back in with mom and dad or something, man. But nah, not really. But it don't ever get that bad. But anyway, enough blabbering about that. Cheat True podcast today, man. As always, I ain't gonna keep y'all alone. Just got a few things I want to talk about, of course. NFL season, week 2. I'll talk about a few games, give you guys my picks on those games. And that'll pretty much be it. I guess maybe touch on a couple college games. Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU and Auburn are two main games on my radar. Not really too concerned about the other games. So I'll get into those. But first, I'm about to get into something that I've been talking about since the summertime. Matt Stafford. So, for you guys who don't know, I am a Detroit Lions fan. Even though I get on here sometimes to talk about them like I'm not a Detroit Lions fan. It's just because this is the cheap truth. And I owe it to you guys to be objective. Right? Doesn't matter, favorite team, whatever, I have to be objective. And I am objective about all of my teams. No matter what team I root for, I am objective. I'm not going to be one of these pom-pom waving just guys who are just irrational guys who just, no matter what their team does, they're always just on the side of their team. That they won't say anything bad about them. Every draft pick is a hit. You know what I'm saying? They defend everybody on the team. They defend them like they were their own kid or something. Like they just have no real objectivity. But I'm not one of those guys. So, Detroit Lions got trounced against the Jets this week, man. Monday Night Football prime time. Got their ass kicked 48-17. It got ugly. It got ugly pretty fast. Matt Stafford threw 1 touchdown, threw 4 picks. 1 touchdown and 4 picks. So that game was actually Matt Stafford's 5th 4 interception game. That was his 5th of his career. So 5 times during his career, he has thrown 4 interceptions in a game. Wow. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I've been talking about this since the summer, and I did an episode on this. So if you didn't listen to it, you should go listen to it. Because me personally, I think it was a pretty good episode that broke down why I am not a fan of Matt Stafford and why I gave up on him a couple years ago. I've been gave in on Matt Stafford. I gave in on him. For all the money that he's getting paid, I can't remember what the exact number was, but it's like he's made over He's made over probably like 120, $140 million in his career. I can't remember what the exact number is, but he made a whole lot of money. He has made a whole lot of money to have done a whole lot of nothing. He ain't did nothing. Just threw for a lot of meaningless yards. Has no playoff wins at all. Now, I understand that it's not all his fault, and I explained this in the episode, but I'm gonna say it again just in case you decide to not go back and listen to it. I understand that it's not all Matt Stafford's fault. It's not all his fault. I mean, the Detroit Lions, they haven't won a playoff game since 1991? 1991. Like, dude, like I was born in 91. That's a long time. And for as much money as you're getting paid, you haven't won a playoff game. It's not all his fault. It's not all his fault. I mean, you got the organization. They haven't been the most buttoned-up organization. I mean, you had the Matt Millen years, which set the franchise back I don't know how long. Matter of fact, I wonder what the hell Matt Millen's doing these days. I know he was doing, I think he was doing like commentary for ESPN or something. But I don't know if he's still doing that. I hadn't seen him. But you had the Millen years, and we know all about that. Charles Rogers, Roy Williams, Mike Williams, the failed draft picks there, Jordan Dyson, like those types of guys. I mean, just terrible picks around the board during the Millen years. And then I forgot the next one. Was it LaWand? I guess he stepped in, and he didn't do too much better. And now you got Bob Quinn, the Patriots disciple, or the member of the Patriots organization that came over from, well, he was a member of the Patriots organization, and he came over from New England to Detroit, trying to change the culture or whatnot. So it hasn't all been his fault. He's never had a running game. I mean, he's going on what? I think the stat was 5 years without a 100-yard rusher. I mean, that's not all Matt Stafford's fault. So I get that. And he doesn't play defense. And Matt Patricia, a.k.a. Silent Bob, is supposed to be a defensive specialist. That's what he's supposed to be about, right? Defense. And they didn't do very good. They hadn't looked good at all, to be honest, even during the preseason. And I know it's just the preseason, but even though the preseason doesn't necessarily count, it does matter to a certain extent. But the thing with Stafford is, man, and I just thought about this probably like a week ago. When you think about franchise quarterbacks, like think about all the franchise quarterbacks that you know. Think about the guys who, like even the guys who may not necessarily be Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees, but just solid guys, right? Think about them and think about their coaches. Like the way it goes in the NFL is this right here. If you have a franchise quarterback, you're probably going to be the head coach of a team for a minute. You're going to keep that job because your quarterback is good enough to win you a lot of football games. Look at Green Bay. How long has Mike McCarthy been there? Mike McCarthy's been there 10 plus years. You want to know why he's been there 10 plus years? Because he's got Aaron Rodgers. If he had Deshaun Kaiser, he'd be fired in 2 years. Well, of course, if anybody has Deshaun Kaiser as their starting quarterback, they get fired. But, you got guys like Mike McCarthy. Think about Mike Tomlin, how long he's been with the Steelers, the head coach. You think about guys like, who was I about to say? What's his name out in Baltimore? John Harbaugh. And I know Joe Flacco can be iffy sometimes, but he has had some success. You got to give him that. He's had some success. Even though, as I speak right now, they're getting their ass handed to him by the Bengals. But, I mean, he's went to the Super Bowl. He's had some playoff success. very good playoff record. You look at those types of guys, man. You look at their coaches. They stay put. If you have a franchise quarterback, 9 times out of 10, you are going to stay put. You look at New Orleans, Sean Payton, Drew Brees, right? Alex Smith, Kansas City. Alex Smith, Andy Reid. I expect Sean McVay out of LA to stay with Jared Goff for a minute. Like, that's just the way it goes. So you look at Matt Stafford, giving him all this damn money. He's on his 3rd head coach now. 3rd. And from the looks of it, it looks like he'll be on his 4th real soon if Matt Patricia don't get his stuff together. You know, you had he came in with Jim Schwartz, and then they got rid of Jim Schwartz for Jim Caldwell, and then they got rid of Jim Caldwell for Matt Patricia. Which I was never a big fan of that hire to begin with. I really wasn't a big fan. I wasn't a huge fan of Caldwell, but I could see why they wanted to get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I feel like they backtracked. They didn't upgrade. Like, if you're going to get rid of a guy like that that's gotten you to the playoffs twice, you know what I'm saying? Guided you to an 11-5 season. At one point in time, Detroit actually had like the number 1 defense in the league. Like, you just don't get rid of those guys like that. But I could kind of understand it. They felt like, hey, we maxed out with Caldwell. We've gotten as far as we can get with Caldwell. Let's go in another direction. But Patricia shouldn't have been that direction, if you ask me. So, yeah, Matt Stafford's on his third coach, man. And that's just kind of unheard of, right? If you are a really good quarterback, the coach usually stays because you are the trigger man, and you can keep things. You're always in games. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always got a shot. You always got a chance. You're going to win games. You're going to go to the playoffs. You're going to win playoff games. Aaron Rodgers, you're going to win playoff games. You're going to go to the playoffs. You're going to win divisions. Matt Ryan down in Atlanta. You know, you see him and his coach, they're still there. You're going to go to the playoffs. You're going to win playoff games. You may not necessarily win the Super Bowl, but you're going to be there. You're going to be in the thick of things if you have a franchise quarterback. But Stafford's on his 3rd coach. What does that say about him? And this is the thing that just pisses me off with Detroit Lions fans, man. All the Detroit Lions homers. It's just everybody always has an excuse for Stafford. They always like to say, "Oh, well, you know, it's the team around him. It's the coach. It's the GM." Well, I just told you he's on his 3rd coach. Is it always the coach? Is it always the coach, man? Is it always the organization? Is it always the offensive line? Is it always the running game? Is it always the defense? Why is it always somebody else's fault but his? Remember now, he's been the one constant. They've gotten rid of people. They've traded away people. They've bought in people. He's on another general manager. Well, why is it always somebody else's fault when it comes to Matt Stafford? I just don't get it. I just do not get it. This guy has not won a playoff game his entire time with the Detroit Lions. He's collected all them dollars. He ain't turning that down. He winning in that category. He is definitely winning in the money category, boy. I'm talking about Brinks truck, bag it up and dump it. You know what I'm saying? Dump truck full of money. But it's just like when you call him out, all the Detroit Lions homers, man, that they just try to get at you, man. They just always have excuses for this guy, and I just don't get it. How a guy who hasn't guided you to one playoff victory, played terrible in this game. I just read the stat. This is his 5th time throwing 4 interceptions in a game. 5th. Dude, y'all remember when Matt Stafford got benched? Matt Stafford got benched. He got benched. What franchise quarterback gets benched and you getting paid that much money? Now, he did proceed to come out the next game and ball out, which I knew he would. That's why I took him in DraftKings. because he was embarrassed. But what franchise quarterback gets benched? Who? Could you imagine Mike McCarthy sitting Aaron Rodgers? For one, Aaron Rodgers ain't going to play that bad. But could you imagine it? Now, I know what you guys are going to say. Well, Peyton Manning got benched. Man, Peyton Manning was like 43 years old. Which looks crazy now because he actually got benched for Brock Osweiler. He got benched for Brock Osweiler. Peyton Manning got benched for Brock Osweiler. Peyton Manning was stinking it up that game. But yeah, man, Stafford, I don't know, man. I hope you guys, man, look, I'm going to tell y'all, man, the train is open. The doors of the church are open. Look, you guys can join, you know what I'm saying? If you don't want somebody that's all up in the videos, you know what I'm saying? All up on the songs, whatnot. Hey, come join J.Will, man. Come join your boy J.Will on this train, man. The Matt Stafford, we done gave up on him train. Come on, come on, come on, come one, come all. We ain't turning nobody away. We ain't turning nobody away. The doors of the church open. Serious business, man. Because I'm tired of hearing about it. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. The proof is in the pudding, dog. The one constant has been you. It's like my boy Colin always say, man, if you've been in 5 divorces, I don't know if he actually uses the number 5, but y'all get what I'm saying. If you've been divorced 5 damn times, at some point you have to start looking at yourself. This your 3rd head coach. You supposed to be the franchise quarterback. You got to start looking at yourself a little bit, bro. Because if you are that guy, those coaches should be able to stay. You get what I'm saying? Like, they should be able to stay. Now, I know a lot of people getting on Matt Patricia, and I get it. I don't like the hire. But Matt Patricia didn't throw those interceptions. You threw them. Once again, it's always somebody else's fault. Always somebody else's fault with Matt Stafford, man. So, all you Detroit Lions homers out there, all you Matt Stafford nut huggers out there, that's right, I said it, Matt Stafford nut huggers. Leave it alone, man. Get off the man's jock. Be objective. Hey, and if Matt Stafford does great, I give him credit. No doubt about it. I never said that Matt Stafford wasn't a good quarterback. I'm just saying for all the damn money that organization has paid Matt Stafford, they have not gotten any return on it. They're paying him all that money to maybe go 7-9. I mean, damn. You paying him all that money to maybe go 8-8, to go 9-7 and miss the playoffs, or to sneak in the playoffs at 9-7, only to get beat by the Seahawks, only to get beat by the Saints. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. It's just one underachievement after another. And at the end of the day, it's all about winning games. It's all about getting to the playoffs. It's all about winning playoff games. And if you are that guy, you should be able to lead your team to the promised land. You should be able to lead your team to those places. And Matt Stafford just doesn't do it. Has too many of those games, bro. Has too many of them. Seriously. He's throwing for a lot of yards. He's going to end up being the best Lions quarterback ever. The numbers are going to show it. But at the end of the day, he hasn't won anything. He's been in the league 9 years, bro, and you have not won a playoff game. Not won one. Not one. Come on, man. When was the last time that Detroit won a game that they weren't supposed to win? When was the last time they did that? When was the last time Detroit went into a game with Matt Stafford and won a game that they were not supposed to win? Went into a playoff game and won a game that they were not supposed to win. Like, damn, we were not supposed to beat the Seahawks, but we did. In part because we got Matt Stafford under center. When was the last time that happened? In the regular season, too. I seriously can't remember. I really can't remember. Yeah, you're not supposed to beat the Patriots. Number 1 defense versus number 1 offense. I remember that year. Jim Caldwell, that's the year that they finished 11-5. Come on, man. Win a game you're not supposed to win. Against the Steelers on a Sunday night football. Come on, beat them. Come on. Beat Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, Tony. Come on, man. Come on. You're the $100 million guy. Get it done, man. Get it done. So switching gears, let's get into some college football. And let's talk about Alabama versus Ole Miss real fast. So SEC matchup, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, Saturday night. And I guess this has kind of turned into a little rivalry, I guess, over the past few years, Ole Miss and Alabama. Now, in this game, let's see, Alabama is a 21.5 point favorite. So, 22-point favorite. Now, first of all, I'm going to say if you bet this game, bet Ole Miss. Because I believe Ole Miss is going to, I believe they're going to cover. I don't believe they're going to win, but I believe that they're going to cover that. Now, I know I said this against Louisville, but Ole Miss is a better team than Louisville, in my opinion. So, I fully expect for Ole Miss to cover that spread. That's a high-ass spread once again. Now, Alabama's a damn good team, so I guess one could kind of understand why somebody would say, oh, yeah, they're going to beat the crap out of their opponents. But I believe Ole Miss cover. Now, I feel strongly in saying that because in order to beat Alabama historically, with Nick Saban there, like, you have to be able to sling the ball around. You have to be able to sling the ball. You have to have a quarterback who can throw the ball. We know what happened with them against Ole Miss. Chad Kelly, awesome game. You got to be able to sling the ball around. You're not going to be able to just run the ball on Alabama and think that's just going to be it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be able to do something else. You have to be able to do something else. And from seeing Ole Miss, I only seen him play once this year. I didn't see him play against SIU, which I guess that's what, Southern Illinois University or somewhere. I didn't see him play against them, but I did see him play against Texas Tech, and they look pretty impressive. And I like their offense, and I like their quarterback, Jordan Ta'amu. Thing is, both the quarterbacks here are actually Hawaiian, so that'll be interesting to watch between Alabama and Ole Miss. So yeah, I like him. I think he's pretty good, and he actually has a pretty decent offensive line. Greg Little, left tackle, he'll be in the league, top 10 pick, top 15 pick, in the draft. AJ Brown, he'll be a first round pick. DK Metcalf, probably be a first round pick too, somewhere down the line. So they have two very good receivers, so they can throw the ball around, is what I'm saying. And on top of that, they'll be able to protect their quarterback against Alabama's pass rush, which, I mean, they got some boys for you. So I like Ole Miss to cover this game. I don't think they'll win. I think Alabama will eventually be too much for Ole Miss's defense. I think Tua Tagovailoa, he'll have a pretty good game. Damian Harris, the running back, Jerry Jeudy. I mean, they can hit you from all angles, and they have a really good offensive line. I don't know if Ole Miss will really be able to generate enough pressure to really bother the quarterback for Alabama. I don't think they'll be able to do enough on defense. Offense, they'll stay in the game. They're going to score some points. I think they're going to score points. Another thing to look out for in this game is Ole Miss has a first-year head coach. So, the guy, his name escapes me, but he replaced Hugh Freeze at the end of the season. When they was going through the whole scandal thing and whatnot. But this is his first year. So one of the things you have to look out for, coaches like that going up against an experienced guy like Nick Saban. And the guy's name is Matt Luke, by the way. The coach for the Ole Miss Rebels. One thing you got to look out for in these types of games is coaches outthinking themselves. You get what I'm saying? Like, they'll try some crazy trick play, or they'll try, like, hey, we're going to go for it on fourth down in our own territory. They outthink themselves because they're going up against a guy in Nick Saban who does this, who's such a great coach, who has such a great program. You feel the need to press the issue a little bit. So, I mean, we've seen this in the NFL. We've seen this in sports, period, where coaches just kind of outthink themselves. And just don't be surprised if something like that happens in this game. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, why are they going for it 4th down in their own territory? Why are they trying an onside kick? Why are they doing this weird trick play? Just don't be surprised if something like that happens. So, regardless, I think Alabama win. I say I can see this one being kind of high score. I can see Alabama winning this like 35-28, something like that. Touchdown game, maybe like 35-24. I just think that their offense will be too much for Ole Miss. But I think Ole Miss will stay in it. They'll definitely stay in it. They will cover that 22-point spread. So that's that. Auburn and LSU. This is a pretty interesting game. Just because I like the matchup, I like the draft matchup. I want to see what Jarrett Stidham does against LSU. He did pretty good against Washington, which, I mean, Washington's a pretty good team, and they have some decent players on their defense who will be drafted. But LSU will have a lot of players that will be drafted. You know what I'm saying? The linebacker, what's his name? Devin Hill, I think, and Greedy Williams. So I'll be interested to see what Jarrett Stidham does in this game. Now, I believe Auburn's going to win. I definitely think Auburn's going to win. Physical matchup. I don't think it'll be a high-scoring game. The defense is going to put in some work. They're going to run the ball. We know Gus Malzahn, he likes to run the ball. LSU, Ed Orgeron, they're going to run the ball. We know that. But I think that Auburn will eventually I think because of their quarterback situation, I like Jarrett Stidham over LSU's quarterback. So I'm going to take Jarrett Stidham. I'm going to take Jarrett Stidham, and I'm going to take Auburn, who, me personally, they're probably not that much better than LSU talent-wise. Matter of fact, I don't even know if I can say that they're necessarily better talented-wise, because LSU has talent all across the board. LSU, their problem has always been that they just can't find a damn quarterback. That's always been their problem. They're able to find everything else. Offensive linemen, put them in the league. Running backs, put them in the league. Wide receivers, put them in the league. Defensive linemen, put them in the league. Cornerbacks, safeties, put them in the league. Linebackers, put them in the league. It's just quarterbacks. Quarterbacks and getting everything to play together. Getting everybody to, sync together, I guess. But I think Auburn wins this game. So I say probably be somewhere along the lines of, I'm going to say 24-20. I'm going to say 24-20. Auburn wins this game. And last but not least, let's talk some NFL. NFL games, man. Got 4 picks for you. And I'm starting off with the 49ers versus the Lions. So I tore into Matt Stafford pretty good to start this episode. And they take on the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan, and those boys. And the 49ers are a 3.5-point favorite. So, first of all, I'm taking 49ers at 3.5. I know a lot of people are down on the Lions, which they should be. And I know that this could be a bounce-back game. Generally in the NFL, when you see teams get embarrassed like that, the next week they usually come back and they play real well. They're way more disciplined. They just play better after getting embarrassed. And the Lions got embarrassed on TV, right? ESPN, Monday Night Football, got flat out just embarrassed. So I can see how one could say, oh, well, they're going to bounce back this week. And they probably will. Like, they won't have the performance that they had Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't get much worse than that. So they should be better, and I expect them to be better. But I like the 49ers, this matchup against the Lions. I like Kyle Shanahan. I watched that game against Minnesota, man. If Alfred Morris doesn't fumble that damn ball And if Kittle's the tight end for San Francisco doesn't drop a wide open, I mean, he was wide the hell open for a touchdown. I mean, he'd still be running. If those two things go, if they end up going San Francisco's way, they may have won that game. You know what I'm saying? I know it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback and, shoulda, coulda, woulda, didn't. But Kyle Shanahan called a good game against an elite defense. Elite. Like, Minnesota is elite defense all across the board. All levels. Secondary, linebackers, defensive line. He called a pretty good game. I mean, I'm like, damn, another person open. Oh, how did he get wide open? Like, there was a sequence in that game where Kyle Shanahan, they called the same play like 3 times. It was the same play. It was like a play action play, tight end swinging out of the backfield, bootleg action. And the guy was wide open each time for like 3 straight plays. I just don't see Matt Patricia being able to come back Kyle Shanahan. Matter of fact, I don't even know who the hell the defensive coordinator is for the Detroit Lions. I don't even know. I guess Matt Patricia has his imprint on it, but there's somebody else who's the actual defensive coordinator for the Lions. But I think the 49ers bounce back against the Lions. I think the Lions will play better. Matt Stafford will play better, I think, because for one, they got embarrassed, and 2, the 49ers aren't really that good on defense. Like, a lot of people are so excited about Jimmy G and what he's going to do, and you know what I'm saying, Kyle Shanahan, they forget that the defense really isn't that good. Reuben Foster's suspended. Richard Sherman is a shell of himself. I mean, I guess he's still okay, but he's serviceable. He can get out there and do something. He can hold. But, I mean, you look at it, there's defensive line. I mean, I guess Solomon Thomas. I forgot the other guy's name, the other high draft pick from Oregon. I mean, they got some players. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're not terrible, but they're not gonna scare anybody, I don't think. So, regardless, I still think that the 49ers win. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, he eats the Lions secondary alive. I think Kyle Shanahan calls an awesome game, and I just think that the 49ers win. And I think that they'll cover that 3.5 point spread. So I'm going to take the 49ers 28-21. I'll take the 49ers 28-21. New York, Dallas, primetime game Sunday. Cowboys are favored to win by 3 points. I'm taking the Cowboys 3 points. Now, I understand I took the Cowboys by 3. Well, I don't know what the spread was last week against Carolina. But they lost. So that was my fault. My bad, y'all. My bad. I think that New York will be able to get a pass rush on Dallas, but I don't think that they'll be able to bother. They won't be able to bother the Cowboys to the level that Carolina did. Like, a lot of people are overreacting on the Dallas Cowboys. And, I mean, they look bad. Don't get me wrong. They look bad. I mean, I said the last episode, if there was an equivalent to struggle bars, the Dallas Cowboys offense would be it. Okay? That would be it against Carolina on that Sunday. On Sunday. This previous Sunday. But I think that Dallas will look better against New York. Because New York, their front 7 is not to the level of Carolina's. And I think that Dallas will make some adjustments on the offensive line with their draft pick, Connor Williams. Now, he has another matchup. He's not going against Quan Short. Snacks Harrison is a beast, too, on that interior. So, he'll have another tough matchup. But I think that Dallas will make some adjustments for that. Now, once again, Dallas, who they're going to throw to, that's not changing. You know, Michael Irvin's not coming out there. Dez Bryant in his prime is not coming out there anytime soon. So they're going to have to deal with what they got. I think Ezekiel Elliott will have a better game. I think he'll have a better game. I expect him to go over 100 yards. I think that'll get him involved in the pass game a little more. Not going to have to go up against Luke Kuechly, who's like just the best linebacker in the league, damn near, arguably. They don't have to worry about that. They will have to go up against Alec Ogletree, but he's like a B plus guy. He's not Luke Kuechly. So a lot of people are panicking on Dallas. Like I said, I wouldn't push the panic button, but I would be concerned. I expect for them to bounce back in this game, man. I think that Dallas' defense will be able to hold New York. I expect that pass rush to be able to get to Eli Manning. Eric Flowers is still out there. DeMarcus Lawrence has to be chomping at the bit. Like, for real. He has to be salivating with that matchup. So, I expect Dallas to win this game. Like I said, 3-point favorite. I think that Dallas covers that. I am going to take them to win, let's say 24-20. 24-20. So I got two 24-20 games between college and the NFL. Let's see here. Green Bay and Minnesota. So this is an interesting game right here. Aaron Rodgers, as of right now, as I record this, they're still doing tests on Aaron Rodgers' knee. We don't know if he's really going to play yet. He's saying he's going to play, but there's actually no line for this game, which makes sense because it depends on Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, if Deshaun Kaiser runs out there, the Vikings may win by 100. So if Aaron Rodgers plays, I think they win. Point blank, period. I think they win. Interesting stat I saw here, and I'm not all that surprised by it, but the Packers have won 11 of the last 14 meetings against the Vikings when Aaron Rodgers has played the game entirely, in its entirety. 11 of the last 14 meetings. So, I've said this before, bro. Like, trust me, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. So, I keep a pulse on the NFC North. I know what's going on in this division. As long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy, the Packers are winning the division. They're going to win the division. Point blank, period. As long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy, they are going to win the division. I know the Vikings, they're really good. I know they got Kirk Moneybag Cousins. I get it. They are talented all across the board. Dalvin Cook is back. He's just still getting his legs up under him. Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph. I mean, the list goes on and on. Xavier Rhodes, Harrison Smith, Everson Griffin, Anthony Barr, Danielle Hunter. I mean, just talent everywhere. But I'm telling y'all, man, that man up in Lambeau, I got to give it up for him. As long as he's behind center, bro, you got a chance. You can pencil him in playoffs. You can pencil him in division. That's just the way it is. The NFC North is not one of those divisions like the NFC South. Like the NFC South, the Falcons may win in 1 year. The Panthers may win in 1 year. The Panthers may win in 1 year. Saints may win in 1 year. Like, it's very competitive. So, the NFC North is not that competitive. If Green Bay, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, they're going to win the division. And Green Bay is playing at home. So, I fully expect that if Aaron Rodgers plays this game, they are going to win. So, I don't really have a score for this one. Like I said, there's no line. So, if Green Bay wins, I'm going to say they're going to win, say, let's go 21. Let's go 21-17. Let's go 21-17. Another thing that people aren't really talking about either, I like Green Bay's defense. Well, I like what they've done in the secondary. Let me put it like that. I love their draft picks. Josh Jackson, Jareer Alexander. I love it. I love what they're doing. Now they're still young and they're still learning, but I love their young talent in the secondary. So something to look out for. But I got Green Bay winning if Aaron Rodgers plays. But if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play, well, all bets off, because then they're gonna throw Deshaun Kyle out there, and we know that's not gonna work. So got Green Bay winning that if Aaron Rodgers plays. Last one, Steelers versus the Chiefs. Steelers are a 4.5 point favorite, 5 point favorite, however you want to call it, against the Chiefs. So this game right here, man, what we got here? So we got Pittsburgh coming off that disappointing tie against the Cleveland Browns. And you got the Chiefs coming off a really good win against San Diego. Now, San Diego has some really good players on defense. They have a really good pass rush. They have some pretty good guys in the secondary. Casey Hayward. They have a pretty solid defense. So for the Chiefs to be able to do what they did against the Chargers, is to be commended. Now, since they did it against the Chargers, which I would say, I think the Chargers defense is better than the Steelers. One could surmise, one could say that because they did it against the Chargers, they'll do it against the Steelers. And I don't blame anybody for thinking like that. My only thing would be, now the Steelers are still, how am I trying to say this? What am I trying to say? I think that their secondary is still questionable, is what I'm saying. I don't know if going up against the Browns and what they did against the Browns is necessarily a true testament as to where they are as a secondary. Because that's been a question mark for a minute. Joe Hayden's always getting hurt. Artie Burns, is he really good? I don't know. It's just kind of always been it's been a question mark for a minute. Now, Andy Reid's gonna test him. Andy Reid's gonna test him. We will know. We will have a good idea after this game as to how good the Steelers are as far as their secondary is, because you got that boy Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill is a monster. Tyreek Hill is a monster, man. He is just so dominant. Like, to be so small, to be that fast, that agile, the guy is just on a whole nother level. I mean, he scares the living crap out of you. He just scares the living crap out of you. I can see Tyreek Hill going off this game because the Steelers don't have nobody. They definitely don't have anybody that's going to match up speed-wise with them. And the Steelers don't really have a good pass rush. Bud Dupree. Cameron Hayward, he's all right. He's pretty good. But besides that, T.J. Watt, yeah, okay. But I think that the Chiefs will be able to withstand that. They'll be able to withstand any pressure that the Steelers will apply to them. And I think Andy Reid's a good play caller, and he'll have some things ready. I don't know if the Chiefs necessarily win this game, but I think that they cover. I think that 5 points is a little too much. I'm going to respect Andy Reid and that he'll be able to stay within a field goal of Pittsburgh. The thing about Pittsburgh is, for them to be so good, they can look really bad sometimes. And for Ben Roethlisberger to be the quarterback that he is, future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, he can look really bad at times. He can have really good games. He can have really bad games. He really can. Now, the Chiefs don't really have that much on defense. I don't know if they're going to necessarily be able to put a whole lot of pressure on Ben Roethlisberger. But I think they'll be able to bother him a little bit, if that makes sense. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs featured Kareem Hunt a little bit more in this game. Because the Browns did a pretty good job against the Steelers Sunday in running the ball. I mean, Carlos Hyde had a pretty decent game against those guys. Tyrod Taylor had a rushing touchdown. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kareem Hunt gets featured in this game a little bit more. They still haven't replaced Ryan Shazier, who was a really good player for them, had that terrible injury. So I could see Andy Reid trying to get Kareem Hunt matched up against a linebacker out the backfield, running a few routes, wheel routes, whatnot, angle routes, trying to get good matchups. Tyreek Hill. I mean, I think the Steelers are going to win this game. I think they're going to win it, but I don't think they're going to win it by 5 points. I think that Ben Roethlisberger will have a bounce-back game, and I'm not for sure if the Chiefs have enough in the secondary to combat the Steelers. So I got the Steelers winning. I'm going to say the Steelers win. I want to say 28. No, not 28. I'm going to go 31-27. 31-27. So those are my picks. And that's it for the Cheat Truth for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoyed my little rant about the Lions and about Matt Stafford. I got a feeling I got plenty more coming. And if they stick it up this weekend, I'm definitely going to come back on Tuesday and I'm going to unleash even more. So hope you have a good weekend. As always, follow the social media handles in the description. I always leave them down there. And have a good weekend. Be safe out there. I'm going to say it again. Be safe. Be safe out there, man. And I will talk to you guys next week. Peace.